Hey, what's up, everyone? Dragon here again, here to tell you that you should be watching Dog Soldiers. The Dog Soldiers is a 2002 British horror thriller written and directed by Neil Marshall. For some of you, probably have heard about it. It's kind of developed a bit of a cult following over the years. It's been described as Jaws meets Aliens with a werewolf twist, which I've always loved that description of it because if you're a fan of like creature features or anything like anything that features something with teeth trying to eat people, a description like that just kind of jumps out at you, as it did me back in the day. So basically, the story follows a group of British soldiers who are kind of in the Highlands of Scotland on what they think is a routine kind of training exercise with a group of special forces. Come to find out, they basically were dropped in as bait for the special forces team who are tracking something they're trying to capture, something they're trying to bring back for study. What is that? We don't know. Long story short, they find the Special Forces team all torn to pieces, blood and guts literally everywhere. Only one survivor, at which point they basically themselves become under attack by something, a group of things that they can't quite see, identify. They're using the environment to their advantage. So they start running. A passerby picks them up. They go to a kind of an abandoned farmhouse way deep in the forest, where they basically, for the duration of the film, have to hold up all the while these things are kind of circling, trying to get into this farmhouse. Now, if you're familiar with stories like Aliens or The Thing, it's the story when these characters are kind of held up in a kind of what they hope is a fortified position, while something or a group of things on the outside is trying to get their way into them. It's more so in the vein of Aliens. Turns out these things are, in fact, werewolves. So basically they are now in werewolf country, surrounded by werewolves in this farmhouse, and they are literally trying to find a way to get out and get back to civilization. And during this point, the werewolves are sabotaging them. They're destroying the vehicles, all this kind of stuff, implying that the werewolves themselves are intelligent, that they know what the soldiers are trying to do, and they know that they're trying to basically cut off their means of escape, kind of the same way a pack of wolves would take down large prey. They would make sure it can't get away, make sure it can't escape, try to damage it, try to wound it. So it very much plays out like a bit of a predator and prey kind of scenario. Now, on the surface, that's basically what it's about. Okay, we're held up, we're trying not to get killed by werewolves, and we got to get out before they get in. But underneath that, and as I do with all these videos, I try to kind of, talk about more like the underlying themes of the story as opposed to just giving you like a plot synopsis, even though I just kind of did that a little bit. But basically what this story is kind of about, and this might sound kind of hokey at first, but so bear with me, is really about teamwork and the merit of teamwork. Because a lot of times I feel in maybe stories like this, they sometimes, storytellers, whether it be in film or books, comics, whatever, will try to show you kind of the worst in people. Like, when you're kind of stripped away of, the luxury of being who you want people to see you to be, and your kind of back's against the wall in a life or death situation, the person who you really are comes out, because none of that other kind of nonsense matters. And a lot of times I think they try to paint people as kind of just ugly, like the worst comes out in people. But in this story, it's kind of the opposite. The best come out. You have a group of soldiers who are well trained, who are decent bunch of guys who are all friends and have a lot of camaraderie. And when their backs are against the wall, what did they do? Exactly what a group of soldiers should do. They work together. They form plans. They watch each other's back. They work as a unit. And the irony is, there are other people in this group who are not originally part of the unit, people who perhaps know a bit more about what's going on here, who have more information, more knowledge on the threat, and yet these are the people who you do see the worst come out. You do see that negative quality come out in them. Whereas the guys who are just kind of thrown into the meat grinder, so to speak, who you would expect more to just lose their minds and go nuts because they have zero clue what's going on. This is completely unexpected. It's a complete unprecedented situation. Most of them aren't battle hardened even to begin with, and yet they're the ones who keep it together and work together. And their primary motivation is not just to get out alive themselves, but to make sure the people next to them, their friends, their fellow soldiers, get out alive. Their motivation is to help the person next to them, not just themselves. And it is because of this motivation that they work so well together. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, in traditional creature feature fashion, not everyone gets out alive, folks. But it's not for lack of effort on their part, and it's not because they're all stabbing each other in the back of the first chance they get. They work together, and they show you the value of when it is most difficult to be at your best. That is when it matters most. And that's what kind of separates certain people from others. It's easy to be a nice person. It's easy to be thoughtful when it's easy to be those things, when there's no pressure, when it's just as easy as just, a nice gesture. But what happens when everything is driving your instinct to be selfish? What happens when biologically you are now in survival mode and your body, your mind, your instinct is telling you, millions of years of evolution happening with society telling you, get out, screw them, survive, 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 and you have to go against that biological imperative to do what you feel is the right thing, what you have been taught is the right thing. That is when it is the hardest to be that kind of person, and that is when it matters most, because it shows you that no matter what happens, no matter how dire the stakes, you will rise to the occasion, even if it's, for nothing in the end, which unfortunately for a lot of these people, that's exactly what it is. But they try, and they don't give up. They never kind of just crap out at the end and be like, screw you, every man for himself. No, these people, they stick together. And they probably last as long as they do because of that. So that's basically the crux of the story. It's when the chips are down, who are you going to be? Are you going to be the person you want to be, or are you going to be the person that it's easy to be? Because it's very easy to be a selfish asshole in a situation like this, where everything is coming apart around you, people are dying. It's like, screw it. I want to do whatever it takes for me to survive. And by focusing on somebody else, that might divert, action and attention for myself that could be helping myself. But that's not what they do. They focus on the man next to them. They make sure that that person is taken care of and that person is doing the same thing for them. And because of that, they function as a unit. And because of that, they become stronger. Their position becomes more fortified because they're watching each other's back. They're essentially doing what the werewolves out there are doing. They're working as a pack. They're working as a unit. So the soldiers inside are doing the same thing, just more on the defensive, but they're working as a unit. They're using teamwork the same way the monsters are. So basically you have two groups at odds with each other, both implementing teamwork to try to kill the other, and the other try to keep the other from killing them. And that's basically what the story is about. It's showing you how effective working as a unit is. And again, this film, I like how it plays on both sides of the coin. So if you're familiar with films like Aliens, The Thing, or The Relic, or anything like that, it's that classic scenario in a creature feature where a group of people are in a place where they are cut off from help. An Alien, it's a space colony. An Alien, it was a spaceship. And The Relic, it was a museum. The Thing, it was an outpost in Antarctica. The point is, they can't just go outside and be like, help. They're cut off in some way, and they have to rely on each other. And it is their ability to kind of keep it together that is going to kind of determine whether they, succeed or fail in this case. So, with that said, Dog Soldiers, have you seen it? If so, what did you think? If you haven't, don't worry, I'll put a few links in the description section where you can pick it up. Give it a look, give it a watch. Let me know, come back, let me know what you think. I really, really like this film. This was kind of a little bit of a sleeper hit, I think. It was released theatrically in the UK and a few other places. Didn't come out in America because they kind of were worried that Americans would have issues with their English accents, which, I think that's an attitude from a bygone era, because if you look at now with like BBC America, so much British television has made it over here with Sherlock, Doctor Who. So if the movie was made today, I think it would have come out theatrically, or at the very least would have been like on Netflix front and center. But even still, it was aired on cable a lot, and it built a following, built a cult following, and everyone who's seen this movie, who I've spoken to, really, really loves it and really appreciates it too, because it's a very well made film. The characters are really likable. The performances are top notch. It's definitely, when you mention creature feature film, I think this is one that very much deserves to be brought up on the list because it's probably one of the best ones in the past 20 years. And I think is, while very much being an homage in a lot of ways to some of these other films I mentioned, is not a ripoff. It doesn't feel like it's just replacing, xenomorphs with werewolves. It feels like its own story. And I think the main reason for that is that it's not a werewolf movie with soldiers, it's a soldier film with werewolves, and because of that, it's a great, great character drama. So, with that said, Doc Soldiers, I highly recommend it. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace!